Hey you guys, and welcome to my July wrap up. I read 11 books this month, well last month, and actually got one down right under the wire. I was expecting one more, but I didn't make it, but hey. So let's go through this real quick because my books are kind of a mess right now. So the first two books that I read was John Steinbeck of Mice and Men and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevens, and I'll link my hashtag a yearathon wrap up down below because that's where I read and talked about these books. Awesomeness. Then the next book I read was a book from NetGalley, and it was called Spring's Fall, and I'm not even gonna embarrass myself by trying to pronounce this author's name, but I gave it 1 star, and I'll link my review down because I actually did a review on my blog down below. The next book that I read was on my Kindle, and it was called Ruthless People by J.J. Abrams. Not J.J. Abrams. That is sad. J.J. McCoy. Let's not talk about that. So anyway, this one follows, let me tell you, because I'm tongue-tied right now, how excited I was for this book. I had been waiting for this book for what seems like ever. So it is a mob kind of romantic story in a way book. So there are 2 big mob families on the east and west coast, one run by the Italians and one by the Irish, and when their kids were little they decided to marry them off. So on the Irish side of the family we have Liam, and he's all, my woman will stay at home and cook me dinner kind of thing, and I kind of forgot the girl's main name. But she was all like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So there is huge conflict between the 2 of them. And then this is very adult, so there's lots of sexy times, there's lots of violence and killing and torture, and they're in the mob people and they do not shy away from that stuff. So that is definitely what's going on. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait for the sequel, and I hope it still follows the same 2 people, because they kind of did like alternate point of views at one point, so, like enough to get like a sense of how the other people were in the book. So but I don't want to follow them exclusively. I like Liam and his love interest, so yeah. The next book that I read was More Than This by Patrick Ness, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and I'm still kind of trying to put my thoughts in order, so I haven't written a review. Well, I kind of did. It was just basically, it just said that, Dear Patrick Ness, I need more than this. Sincerely, ke-sha, and it just had a picture of Stewie rocking back and forth, because that is what this book did to me. Now, I don't necessarily need another book sequel like to this book, is what I'm thinking, but I just, part of you kind of wants it, and part of you is just like, nah, it's okay with just how it ended. But I really loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. I was supposed to read this with Alan. I don't think she finished it, but yeah. Then the next book that I finally finished from last year slightly, I did technically finish it when I first read it, but I like skimmed the last 100 pages, and I don't count it as read until I read like every single word with until it's soaked into my memory. So that is what happened. I finally finished it. It was Pivot Point by Casey West. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. For those of you who don't know, this follows this girl. Her name is not Sloane. It follows this girl, Addison, who lives in this paranormal compound away from real world. People don't know about people with paranormal powers, and that's what everyone has in this compound. And her power is the ability to know which choice she should make. In a way, I'll explain it. She does a search. So if she is faced with a choice, she can search out both options, live both their lives, and determine which one she wants to do. So one day she comes home, her parents are getting divorced, her mom is staying on the compound, her dad is staying off. So she searches what future would be that she wants for her, staying either with her mom or going with her dad, and we get that told in alternating chapters. And yeah, there was just some life choices that I cannot get behind on this one, and it was kind of easy and predictable. The next book that I read was A Song for Ella Gray by David Almond, and this is how it looks. And this was another NetGalley review book. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It was interesting to say the least. I really wanted to like this book because it was an Orpheus retelling. Like, there's hardly any of those, but I did a full review of it on my blog, so I'm gonna link it down below and you guys can go ahead and read it. 2 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read finally was How I Live Now by Meg Rosoff. If you guys can't tell from the jumpiness of me, I actually gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It went from weird to, oh my god, I love this book. So this book follows this girl, Daisy, who is sent to England to live with her mother's side of the family, who she's never met because she's having some trouble with her father and stepmother. And there's always talk about World War III, and no one actually thinks it will happen until it does. So it's interesting, but there is some kind of cousin action going on, which I called when I first hauled this book. Believe me, I read the synopsis and I was like, that sounds like she's dating her cousin. Now I was right, but it wasn't like a huge point of the books, like, sort of. But yeah, definitely 5 out of 5 stars. Awesomeness. And I have a review kind of written up. I just have to go over it and like double check it, so hopefully by Saturday it will be up and I will have it linked. If not, I'll tell you guys when I have it up, or you guys can just follow my blog and it'll be there. So the next book that I read was Take by Ella Frank, and it was also another book that I read on my Kindle. 5 out of 5 stars. This is the sequel to Try. I was just so excited, so happy. Although at one point, at 50% into this book, I cannot take it anymore. Have you guys just ever, sometimes I get like too involved. It mostly happens when I'm watching TV shows sometimes. But I just get too involved in what is going on in the book and I couldn't continue for like a day or so. I was just like, I can't deal with what's going to happen next, because you could see it coming and it was just like, I can't, I need to know. Things happen. And this is what, at one point, I think Alyssa told me I needed to get a hold of myself. Yeah. So then the next book that I read was with Kat from Kat Bella, and we read Not a Drop to Drink by Minnie McGinnis, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but there were problems in it. I started a review, but I've only gotten a couple of sentences in so far, and since I didn't finish it right after I did it, I'm not sure when. But this follows this girl, Lynn, and she lives in a world where water is scarce, and her mom protect this pond. And I have a problem with some of the stuff that happened in this book, like people dying. It was ridiculous in parts to how she grew up, and like just things that I had a problem with in this post-apocalyptic world that if you're surviving in, like, just no. I'm just gonna put it down. And then finally I was finishing, literally I finished those books back to back, these last 5 books, all because I was avoiding this book. And it is The Program by Suzanne Young, and I read this one with Alyssa from AC Reads, and I just finished this one like literally a couple of hours ago before it turned 12. So it's another book I gave 5 out of 5 stars, and if you want to know my complete feelings in GIF form, I'll link down my Goodreads review. But in this world, suicide is becoming an epidemic, and any show and emotion will send teenagers to something called The Program, which totally sucks. Now there is some huge plot holes, number one, especially world building or just in general with how like things are related. I'll link down Alyssa's video below because she kind of spoiled everything, so if you guys don't mind, I'll link it down below. And if you guys want to know like some of those major plot holes and stuff, I'll link it down below. But that wasn't actually my main issue in this. I can ignore some of that stuff. My problem was the main character, Sloane. I was just, sometimes I couldn't believe her stupidity, and I actually started liking her better on later in the book, which is kind of sad if you kind of guess what happens later on in the book. And even then I'm just like hanging my head, and I'm just so confused. And then you mix that in a little, even though I could ignore it, some of the plot holes in this book, like world building wise, like that's not possible, that's not how some stuff happens. I was just like, I can't. And I own the sequel, so I will definitely be reading it. But 3 out of 5 stars. So there's a lot of 3 out of 5 stars. This, okay, there was 2, but hey. So those are all the books that I read this month. I am now only 3 to 4 books behind on my Goodreads goal. How about you guys? I'll read a couple of quotes here in a little minute, but you guys tell me down below how many books you guys read last month. Were you happy with that goal? What was your favorite book of that month? Do you guys have another favorite couple, a favorite quote, anything? I absolutely love these people. Hands down, one of my favorite couples. I think to say Take, the people and Take was my favorite clothing. Logan and Tate. Look, I just shook. It's like that would just be like cheating because it's a sequel. Of course I loved them already. Surprise Goodness was kind of how I live now, because I really did expect to love more than this, and it was like, yes, awesomeness. So a few quotes. Some is from Spring's Fall. It was like a poetry kind of book, so there is kind of like some good in this 1-star book. And one of them is said, sibling rivalry is normal, I've been told, but I've heard that the guardian in charge has a responsibility to stand up for peace, not sit down, lean back, and cheer on. It says, it may be my fault I'm not a crowd pleaser, but must the intimate teasing be so loud? And last but not least, I passed my 2 little sisters, cartwheeling, jumping, running around saplings, chatting like monkeys about the boys they'll meet. Childish ideals will pass one day, like families. They'll move away to take root in new lands and proceed to grow, strangle another childhood. Those who come after me may find it's better to leave toys in mine, out in the open, enticing. Nice boys won't ask, but promise to be good. So I really like those kind of few quotes. And then we have How I Live Now. I really love Daisy. She was kind of like a smart aleck. And one of the first things that I liked about her is that she said, I don't get nearly enough credit in life for the things I manage not to say. Let me tell you, I was just like, I was stuck up there. I was laughing at this quote for a good while because I was just like, girl, you get it. You get it. And then we have, some of the things that made the biggest impression were the things that were almost normal, but not quite. And then there's, what have I ever said that's so riveting to anyone but myself? Strings don't count. They listen for cash. And then finally, if you haven't been in war and are wondering how long it takes to get used to losing everything you think you need or love, I can tell you the answer is no time at all. So, that was kind of like a sad ending to things. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below, and I hope this video wasn't too long for you guys. Hey, the train got here towards the end of a video for once. I will see you guys later. Bye.